A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, which in fact was in Warsaw in 2017, I was on a training how to make good presentations. And this guy who was leading it shared with me 3 tips. To make an engaging presentation, you either start with a quote to attract people's attention. You either start with a question that would engage them, or you can start with a story so that the audience will empathize with the narrative. And to recap quickly, it's a quote, it's a question, or a story. And ever since I learned that, I always start with one of these 3. But today, I won't. My name is Mateusz Trawinski, and I'm an engineering manager working with 2 teams of exceptional developers at SimCorp, developing fintech solutions. I'm also an outcome coach and a great promoter of marvelous book, The 5th Discipline, at vdiscipline.com. And I was about to give you this speech with a long title about the impact of AI on managers' work. But today, I will start with an apology to you as an audience and to the organizers, because the very idea for this presentation was not only bad, it was evil. The idea was quite simple. Go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT about the impact of AI and LLMs on managers, come up with a list which ChatGPT generated and presented to you today. The more I was thinking about this very idea, the more ashamed I was. And when I tried to come up with something of value, an aha moment came. Yet again, I watched on YouTube this great presentation by John Seddon about rethinking IT. Rethinking IT to fix it, to achieve goals, and to have impactful outcomes. And the thought I came up with is that maybe ChatGPT will make us rethink it all. And today, I will share with you 5 areas to rethink. First one is to ask yourself what your work is about. As a manager, I was thinking of myself as in the graphic shows, as a coach, or a person who delegates tasks, or someone who hires and fires people. But ChatGPT made me realize that important part of my work is to generate content. And whether you're creating content by sending emails, by creating objects in Jira, by using Miro and putting virtual sticky notes on the board, or you're making presentations, communicating via Slack, or just making random memes for your team, important part of your work is generating content. Therefore, I think to rethink it all is to ask yourself to what extent you are a content creator. To what extent ChatGPT can help you with it, and to what extent it will replace or change your current accountabilities in your manager role. The second thing to rethink it all is about how our team members in development teams will become senior. Most developers I'm talking with are very excited about the impact of AI on their work, and the basic aim is to automate the boring stuff and do it now. But on the road to mastery, as probably you've watched the Karate Kid movie, road to mastery starts with continuously practicing the basic elements, those boring ones, those most basic areas of development. And the road to mastery goes through three simple rules. First, you just follow it, then you break it, and then you go beyond the rules themselves. But what if we change the first step in this path to be automated? So maybe the promise that AI gives us will actually turn into something we cannot fully predict and comprehend. Therefore, I think, and questions to rethink it all are about how will we be able to learn complex stuff if we will skip the basics? Will the entry barrier to IT engineering world increase rather than decrease with the AI usage? And will the code and no-code worlds become even more separate bubbles? The third thing to rethink it all is to actually ask yourself, what does it know to know things? Generally speaking, as human beings, we learn through three steps. Either it's experience or learning from some bodies of knowledge, or learning by failing. And how do we confirm this knowledge we got? We confirm it with certificates. In my world, where we deliver software using Scrum framework, one of the most important certificates is this professional Scrum Master certificate. And generally speaking, although several hundred thousands of people got the first certificate, the second one is obtained only by 44,000 people worldwide. Therefore, I made a simple experiment. I went to Scrum.org page and solved their test to become a professional Scrum Master 2 and get the certificate with ChatGPT. The third one wasn't that good. The fourth already improved. The passing score was 83%. But the current version had it 93.3 at passing score of 85%. What could be the consequence of it? Huge inflation of certificates. And it might not be that far away future where ChatGPT will be this dog who can really hurt you a lot. So the question to ask yourself, to rethink it all, is how we can verify skills at scale. What would be the future of upskilling trainings and courses to make them effective? And generally speaking, what is the future of testing if the tests can be solved with just using GPT? The fourth thing to rethink it all is that maybe AI is something else than we think it is. We generally think about it as like it is Gestalt, as this beautiful lady, but maybe on the other hand, it's also something else. To show it how it works, let's face a simple manager problem. He needs to write an email. Therefore, the solution might be to write it automatically using any of the LLM models. But then, after a day or two, he has a second problem. He needs to read a very long email. What's the solution? The AI solution. You can summarize it, shorten it, make it a bullet point note using GPT-2. But this actual problem might lead to this endless work of writing long emails and reading them using AI. This problem was actually solved years ago by tech leaders like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs by communicating very, very directly. You have really no need to write very extensive emails using AI or reading very extensive emails using AI, because the solution might be really simple. connect with others, communicate with others directly. And generally speaking, this is a fundamental manager problem. We tend to solve not the problems themselves, but symptoms of a problem with solutions which address only the symptoms, not the root causes themselves. Therefore, the question is, what does it mean that AI can really help us? Does this help address the root cause, or simply create another layer of work? Finally, what does AI tell about the inefficiencies in our current process so we can address them by simplifying the processes themselves? Fifth thing, to rethink it all, is the case of technology adoption. And this is a good story one of my colleagues shared with me. He's old enough that he really experienced the impact of how emails changed the way we work. What he said that when he started using email, he suddenly saved so much time. He didn't need to go to the post office. He didn't need to wait for a letter to get back with a feedback. But then, something strange happened. When everybody started using emails, his mailbox was filled with endless emails to be read. So he simply couldn't get this time he saved in the first place. So generally speaking, we can visualize it like this. With mass adoption of AI or new technologies in general, the individual benefit we all get from using it will eventually decrease. The good thing is that the window of opportunity is still here. And questions to rethink is all is, what is my current strategy to use the AI to enhance the work as a manager? How this strategy, how the patterns, how the behaviors, how the use cases of using it will evolve and change over time when we will get the mass adoption of the process. And how my individual feedback loop around using it is created. Those are the 5 areas of the impact of AI on management I wanted to leave you with. I would like to thank you very much and wish you an insightful journey on answering your questions to the impact of AI on your work. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, maybe. So, yeah, I'm not sure if you might see it, but I wonder about the learning curve and how the AI can be used not to replace the manager's work or to automate the process, but to help us improve our skills, actually. Where we are not always able to find help, to find someone who will help us improve. As you have mentioned, a lot of our work is based on the content creation, on writing, for example. And none of, like, only some of us, we're trained in content creation, in writing. And this is a hypothesis, but I found already in my work that I don't like to replace stuff. Like, I don't like to replace the work for AI to replace my work, to do it for me. But I can use it to actually improve on what I'm doing. And I wonder, what do you think about using AI in such a way?
Can you give me like some specific use case?
Yeah, like for example, the HR stuff, like for example, recruiting people or laying off. It is quite difficult stuff to write a nice message, but also the professional one to someone that you have to lay off or to recruit someone, to say no to someone in a polite manner. And I found it helpful to use the ChatGPT. Of course, using your intelligence doing so, because you have to filter out the stuff that you know it's not good getting from the ChatGPT. Yeah, but do you have any your own experience using ChatGPT, for example, as a partner, not a tool that will do it for you?
Yeah. So especially in the recruitment process, me personally, I started with writing extensive feedback to people as this manager case, like in the first place. If I have 5 bullet points from a discussion, from a talk, I can send someone a long email with feedback. But how my strategy evolved, currently I really send very short, but hopefully beneficial and valuable bullet points. Because as the technology adoption will rise, people will be aware that extensive feedback is simply automated, that we do not treat people the way I would like to be treated. Therefore, the value of really short but deeply personal bullet points is a better feedback than actually, writing a A4 or a 1 page of feedback. So I believe long story short, the direct consequence in a good terms will be personalized direct feedback. And I would love it to have it as a consequence.
And I can simply see this situation where it's AI, talking with AI instead of human with human. I believe we all like to
Yeah, that's true. And this is the process I try to show, that it's not about using AI to deliver more, rather than thinking about the actual process, the actual root causes, the goals we would like to achieve with it, and then maybe simply live with it, to simplify our communication in the first place.
Thanks for the presentation. It was really good, and I think you thought really deeply about the subject and gave a different perspective to me. So this made me wonder, how was your first plan? That just to write to the AI to make the presentation for you? How do you feel about what the final presentation that you have with the first idea?
So what I got from ChatGPT was actually quality work, I would say. This would not only make a point that we can present things which weren't written by us, or we simply didn't prepare and automated it, and referring to the previous question, I believe the real value will come from really personal experience. Therefore, shifting to questions I personally ask myself, because to most of them, I don't know the right answer. I really believe the answer will come only with time. What I'm doing is learning through trial and error, simply experimenting with things and checking what works.
Thank you.
I have one question, because following that logic of someone writing an email using an AI, then someone summarizing an email using an AI, right? What I see here is that we kind of noticed that there was no effort. There's a pretend effort there. Why do the effort? Do you think this is something that could spread also to places where you know the effort is there, but it's basically kind of spreads to, for example, spoken language. So our culture around writing changes because you never know if someone really wrote that or they just clicked one button to generate that. And then it spreads to, okay, I will talk in very short sentences and I won't elaborate. I won't care about how you feel. I won't be building cases for things. I have this sentence, I'm saying it, and now I'm sitting here in silence waiting for your sentence. How do you feel about that?
That's a hard one. And so generally speaking, the question would be, how do we differentiate between effortless communication with AI and this one that included effort, right?
Yeah. My question, I think, is it about effort, or is there a case for crafting messages anyways? You know what I mean?
Yes. So maybe, and I know that answering with a question is not really polite. Maybe the underlying questions we need to ask ourselves is what kind of outcome we would like to get. Because the outcome shouldn't be to produce more and more text. The outcome should be to actually have the work done, have conflicts resolved, have the quality software delivered. Therefore, if we ask ourselves the question about the outcome we would like to get and the goal we would like to have out of our actions, the behavior will adjust based on generally also like internal incentives within each company. It's different. But generally speaking, if we all would agree that efficient communication is the way to not only deliver software, but to grow as human beings, therefore, being direct and having communication which addresses the needs and reaches the outcome would be the actual way.
Okay, thanks.